Hello, I'm Jack Small. Welcome back to Animation Station. You know where such for anything and everything animation, including apparently disappointing piles of fucking dog shit, as well as TV and movies. I don't even know where to start. I don't. Up to this point, I was entirely on this show's side. Okay? If you saw my previous reviews, you would know I loved the last two seasons. They were consistently great, they had amazing animation, fantastic voice acting, and they did amazing job at their storytelling. But this... no. This season is garbage. So much so that I'm not even going to review the last 4 episodes. You know why? Because it's not fucking worth it. This season has been nothing but a collective kick in the fucking nuts. That's all it's been. That's literally all this season's ever been. I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt, because it was doing so well with the build-up. It was building up intrigue. I was at least interested to see what was going on. And then when the end came around, I was just like, what the fuck was that? So yeah, we're ending Season 3 on just one big overall review to tell you all about how this is a fucking pile of dog shit. Which I didn't think I'd have to say this month. I thought after the one bad episode in The Good Dream, maybe, this show would be able to pick itself back up again. And it tricked me into thinking it did, because the other few were actually pretty good. But these final 4 episodes were horrible. Every single fucking one of them. Especially the ending, the final episode. Abandon all hope. That is the worst episode of this show. I was hoping I wouldn't have to talk negative about Castlevania, because so far it has been so damn consistently good. But then as soon as Season 3 came around, it's like everyone decided to take copium behind the scenes and just make an overly convoluted mess just because they had even more episodes to work with. Just because you get more episodes does not give you an excuse to be a lazy dick. Okay? Let me make that really clear. I was initially excited because I'm like, oh, it's going to have even more episodes now, which means the story's going to be grander. It's going to be able to do a lot more things. Well, despite this having almost double the length of Season 2, now it felt like all that time was wasted on dumb bullshit that didn't ultimately matter. And I only hope and pray that Season 4 is as great as people say it is. Otherwise, I'm gonna be so fucking sad having to end this Castlevania-thon on 2 back-to-back stinkers. Because, again, I love those first 2 seasons. They were so damn good at what they did. And I could rewatch those 2 seasons easily. Yes, Season 1 is more rewatchable than Season 2, but that's only because it's shorter and it's easier to get through. But with Season 3, despite having even more episodes than Season 2 did, because now I think it's, 10 episodes a season? Fuck! They wasted it. There's no other word. They fucking wasted it. So, instead of putting myself through the agony of having to tell you all about how the last 4 episodes are garbage, I just thought, let's just do an overall review to sum up the season so we can move on to Season 4 and go back to pretending that this season doesn't exist. Because after finishing it, I want to immediately just exorcise it from my brain. So, yeah, intensely negative review for an intensely terrible season of the show. Enjoy my review. Or at least I hope you enjoy my review, because for some reason when I'm angrier, it gets more views. Don't ask me how that works, it's the YouTube algorithm, I guess. Here's my review, I hope you enjoy. Please understand that this is coming from someone who really loved the first 2 seasons and was on this show's side. But with this season, it's turning me against it. So please keep that in mind before you say like, oh, this guy hates this season because he's not a real Castlevania fan. Bitch, I have been a huge Castlevania fan since I was a kid. First playing those original Castlevanias on the NES on my emulated Xbox. I have been a huge fan of this franchise for as long as I can remember, despite its up and downs and weird purgatory it's in because of Konami. But this was just a hard watch, guys. I really can't sum it up any more than I can in this review. So, if you do like this season, I respect your opinion. I just can't agree with you. I'm sorry. Here's my review. I hope you enjoy. This season of the series is a slow, agonizing, tedious, unsatisfactory, clunky, drawn-out, and all-around frustrating mess. Sure, it does a decent job with the build-up. Some new characters like not like Hector, like Lenore are really interesting additions that add to the lore. The animation is still great as well as the voice acting. The voice actors and the animators really did try. None of my anger is projected onto them. This is not them. This is at the writers. And it does keep intrigue well enough. Like, I was watching through this entire season, and it wasn't until these final 4 episodes it started to lose me. Up to that point, I was still at least invested enough. Yes, you had the one boring episode, but it still had some intrigue. But the ending is just an overly complicated what the fuck mess that just makes it feel overall entirely and utterly pointless. The intriguing side plot with Alucard being a mentor is completely wasted on a shitty excuse of a twist, as in his students tried to kill him. Yeah, I'm going full spoilers in this review because I don't want any of you to have to suffer through this shit. The reveal of what was happening in the Priory feels out of nowhere. It was just opening a gate to hell. And when it's actually revealed, it doesn't feel like the build-up led up to that at all. The Dracula cameo just made me want to go back to the first 2 seasons again rather than watch this one. Like, as soon as Dracula popped up, like, I was just like, I want to go back to the good seasons, man. I don't want to finish this. Having the final battle of the season intercut with 2 of the most explicit sex scenes in the entire show, one of them being an orgy that made 0 sense in the story itself. Yeah, Tsumi and Taka seduce Alucard into an orgy before they try to kill him. And then, on top of that, you also have another sex scene on top of that, with Hector and Lenore. Look, one would be fine, but putting them both in there when we're supposed to be focusing on the final battle intercut in between the sex scenes, it just does not work, and it just pulls me out of the experience and leaving me like, what the fuck am I watching here? Am I watching Castlevania or just some random animated porno? Look, I'm not a prune, I'm not against nudity. If it makes sense in the fucking story, I get it. Like, Hector and Lenore's sex, I get. Like, it actually serves a purpose in the story. Whereas with the orgy with Tsuji, Taka, and Alucard, just feels out of place, had no build-up in the entire season whatsoever, and it just leads to a shitty twist of them trying to kill him. All because they think that, oh, you're just like everyone else that just refuses to help us. Way to take that interesting and very intriguing plot and throw it down the fucking shitter, guys. It was a bafflingly terrible decision that just took away from what was actually happening. The reveal of the judge being a murderous scumbag was agitating after having liked him in the majority of the season. They built up the judge to actually be a decent human being in this show, and when they actually reveal what he really was, God, it pissed me off so bad, because I'm just like, well, why you gotta make me feel dirty for liking this character now? Because up to this point he felt like an honest person that just wanted to protect his town. But now you're showing me that he's some murderous, raging lunatic? What the fuck? The pacing slows down to a complete crawl. This is a slow and agonizing bore. Majority of the time. Hell, honestly, all the episodes I gave a 7 and a 6, I'm thinking about just bumping down to a 5, because it ultimately led to nothing. And the ending itself is not only a half-assed sequel baiting for Season 4, but felt like absolutely nothing more than a massive kick in the nuts. Overall, this is by far the worst season of the show, and outside of the scenes with Hector and Lenore, I'm never watching it again. And honestly, it has me scared that Season 4 is somehow even worse. Season 4, please be better. Please, for the love of fuck, be better. I cannot go through another one of these bad seasons. I can't. It's a huge downfall from the previous seasons and an all-around pain in the ass to sit through. Skip it. Like, watch a Essential Moments compilation or summary on YouTube, rather than wasting hours of your life watching it actually unfold on screen, because the season itself is a fucking mess. And what, it's 10 episodes, and that's 22 minutes per episode. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. That is literally almost 3.5 hours of absolutely fucking nothing worth anything happening. I get that it was maybe them trying to adjust to the fact that they had more time to do things, but so much of it just felt pointless. So much of it just didn't lead to nothing, and so much of it just, again, felt like a kick in the nuts. I was on this show's side through those first 2 seasons because they seemed like they knew what they were doing, and they did an amazing job with those first 2 seasons. I could rewatch those any day, anytime, anywhere. But after this season, honestly, they should have just ended it at 2 seasons, because obviously without Dracula, they didn't know what the fuck to do. And I hate saying that, but it's just too obvious. Like, after they killed off Dracula, they had no idea what to do, so they just threw together this weird half-assed mystery with a bunch of dumb, weird shit happening in between. Like, come on, guys. Really? I was hoping not to talk about anything bad animation-related this month, but no, it had to be this. So congratulations, Castlevania Season 3. You have officially soured my good feeling of your show. Good job. You took literally everything that made those first 2 seasons work so well and you threw it down the fucking shitter. Good job. Please be better, Season 4. And honestly, I'm thinking about just doing that as an overall review too, because if it's just as bad as this, there's no point doing overall episode reviews, episode by episode. There really isn't. Not to mention, I have to cover 2 of those episodes a day, that way I have extra time for other things. So yeah, we are kind of just going to speed through this final season of Castlevania. But I'm not sure if it's going to be me reviewing every single episode. I don't know. I'll watch like the first half, and then I'll tell you if it's going to be overall reviews or just one big overall review. Because I don't want to waste my time in phone storage if it's nearly as dog shit as this was. So, let's go ahead and get to the final verdict, because I've pretty much said everything I can about this frustrating mess of a season. I have no hate for the team that made it. I just feel like the writers should have taken more time, because this was clearly an unfinished script, it was clearly an unfinished idea, and it led to an unfinished, unsatisfactory ending. Final verdict's a 2. 2 out of 10. I was going to be a little merciful, maybe give it a 3, because it still has good action, good blood, and you have the one amazing scene in the final battle of Trevor using both of his whips together. That was badass. But, I mean, outside of that, and a few other little moments here and there, and of course all the scenes with Hector and Lenore, that's easily the best thing this season had. It's just a fucking mess. And the more I think about it, the more it angers me. So no, it's a 2 out of 10. It is a terrible season of the show. And honestly, I'm surprised it even got a 4th after this fucking flaming disaster. Maybe I'm alone on this. Maybe I'm part of a grand majority. I don't know. Since I'm going into the show completely blind, I literally have no clue what the overall consensus of every single season of this show is. So, if you're one of the people that hates this season like me, please let me know in the comments. If you're someone that loves this season, let me know in the comments, because I don't know. I seriously don't know. I was hoping that this Castlevania-thon could be something happy and cheery to help balance out some of the bad reviews I have to do for 31 Days of Horror. But know that this season was a fucking mess. It was a chore to get through, and I'm glad to be done with it. And I can only hope that season 4 is better, in some capacity. So, yep, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for happier videos like this almost every single day. And stay tuned because, like I said, 31 Days of Horror stuff. You have the Smile movies coming up next. I'm excited to talk about those because those are 2 great movies. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. Season 4 of Castlevania. Please, please, please be better.